signs that mean peace? Any symbols or objects that might mean peace to you? Perhaps it's something you can discuss a bit further after the collective worship with your teachers. I'm going to show you a few now, but there may be others that you can think of. Perhaps you've already got some in your head. There's a certain bird that often symbolises peace. I wonder if you know what that bird is. Here we are, a dove. Now that's a real bird, but sometimes the symbol of the dove has something in its beak. It's carrying something, and that's an olive branch. I wonder if you remember the story of Noah when he wondered if there was any more dry land or after the flood, and he sent out a raven a few times and it didn't come back with anything, but eventually he sent out a dove and it came back with an olive branch which showed that there was land somewhere. It was a sign of hope, and hope and peace go together very well, don't they? And very, very important just right now. Now, I've got another sign that might mean peace, and you might remember this from the last lockdown. Do you remember drawing one of these and putting it in your window? Do you remember I talked about it in a collective worship and asked you to think of things beginning with the letters of the rainbow? Thank you to those that took part in that activity. But a rainbow is a sign of peace. Here's another one. It's often in black, but my black ink has run out with my printer, so this is a rather pretty one. It's a symbol from the campaign for nuclear disarmament. People who really do want peace and don't want us to have any big weapons, nuclear weapons in our country. It's quite attractive, isn't it, with all the flowers round it? But you might have seen that symbol. And from about the same era, the middle of the 20th century, your grandparents might remember this symbol, holding their fingers like this to signify peace. What would you do if you met somebody and you wanted to show that you were showing them peace? That's something for you to think about, and perhaps to even do in your own bubble. Now, today, I want to talk to you about this passage that was written by the Apostle Paul to a church in the town of Philippi. And I'm going to hold up the passage, which I hope that you will see, from Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 and 7. It says, "Don't worry about anything, but in all your prayers, ask God for what you need, asking him with a thankful heart. And God's peace, which is far beyond human understanding, will keep your hearts and minds safe in union with Christ Jesus." It's a wonderful passage that we often use in our church services for a blessing. I wonder why there are so many symbols of peace. And I wonder why perhaps particularly this week we need God's peace right now. It's something for you to think about and discuss with your teachers. But I bet some of you will be wanting God's peace because perhaps your mums and dads have had to come back and work from home, that you haven't been able to go and now for a month, starting from tomorrow, see perhaps grandparents, unless they're caring for you, or other members of your family, because the government have asked us to keep safe and to keep in our families for a month. So let's see what happens with all that. But we want God's peace to go with us, don't we? And it's called God's peace that's beyond all human understanding. I wonder why that is. Why do you think God's peace is beyond all understanding? Well, God himself is beyond our understanding. And sometimes I know I need, at the moment, his peace with me. Because, we can't magic up that peace on our own. We can't just try hard on our own strength. But God can give us his peace if we ask for it, even in the middle of lots of stuff going on. Now, when we come to share God's peace in our communion service at church, at the moment, we're not allowed to touch anybody or shake their hand. So what we do is we wave, or using British Sign Language, we might sign the peace to each other. We might go, "The peace of God be with you." And that's something that you might want to try now with the people you're sitting beside. Can you do it with me? The peace of God be with you. And the person the other side, with you. And with you. And I pray God's peace on all of you. It's something to practice and perhaps bring into other collective worships. So as we finish our collective worship, I invite you now to pray. God, who brings all peace, we ask you now for peace beyond understanding.